All right. I won't be long. I'll let you guys get back to your conversation there. I enjoyed listening to you guys there for a few minutes. But no, first of all, it's absolutely great to just get back to some football and to some type of normalcy and be able to get back out on the field and with us not going through spring ball and have an opportunity to coach these guys on the field. It's been a joy to be out there. It has been some challenging times, and as we've all gone through for the last several months. And I know our training staff and our medical staff with Dr. Goodlett has been working overtime, and man, just a big thank you to them because everybody's just all hands on deck and going full speed ahead. But I'm excited. I think that we've gotten 12 practices in and really excited about moving forward. So with that, I'll open up.
Coach, our first question comes from Philip Marshall.
Uh, Coach, appreciate you being here. If you could just talk about, I mean, you've had a kind of wild and crazy last year or so, and lots of coaches go through it. Just from a personal standpoint, how challenging has it been for you, and also how much fun is it to be back on the field coaching guys hands on as opposed to being kind of the overseer?
Well, you know what? It has. It's been some challenging times. That's just that's something, and you try to teach your own kids in life that when things go bad or don't go as way as you plan, that you pick yourself up and you dust yourself off and you don't flinch. And that's what's the great thing about this game is it teaches you those valuable lessons. And so it's been great. I'm telling you, I've been extremely excited to just get back out on the field, coaching a position, coaching the offense, and really just getting involved, in being a part of that development and watching this team and watching the growth happen every day. So I've been extremely excited about it. I'm glad to be on the field and coaching football.
Did you ever imagine you would be coaching via Zoom so much?
No, no, never, never. Didn't know what Zoom was until about March the 15th.
All right, our next question is from Tom Green.
Hey, Chad. Gus the other day mentioned just how well you prepare your quarterbacks. Others have kind of talked about uh, the way you adapted your play calling style over the years. But what is it that's just given you such a solid track record in developing quarterbacks over your career?
Well, I think the first thing you have to do is you gotta simplify things as much as you possibly can, and I've always felt from a developmental standpoint as you coach these guys, it's all about the footwork. So everything we talk about it generates with our feet and it moves up our body and out our arm as that ball is released. And so we really talk about our base, and building that great foundation. And then understanding and being able to read the coverages like that we want and giving them the options of where to go with the football. But I think that's been a big part of it. Another part of it has been just being able to be open and transparent with our quarterback position and listen to those guys and what do they see and what can they execute. And that's been really good. I've really enjoyed our quarterback room and getting in there with Bo and those guys and listen to them talk and give me feedback.
Our next question, Coach, is from Jake Weesey.
Hey, Coach. Thanks for doing this. My question is, what are your expectations and kind of your goals as well for Auburn's offense this season?
Well, we want to be the best Auburn football team we can possibly be. Now, whatever that means, but I believe that with the way that we do things and being able to get guys moved all over the field and put them in space, I think we got an opportunity to be extremely explosive. We want to be the most explosive offense in the country. That is our goal, and we're going to do everything we can to do that.
Next question, Coach, is from Nathan King.
Hey, Chad. Hey, thanks for talking with us today. Bo, last season, when you were in the off season, whenever you were hired, talked to us a lot about how excited he was to get on the field with you. Now that you're finally working hands-on with him, what are the biggest things you've seen from him? What does he do best right now in the preseason, and what are the things you guys are kind of working on the most together?
Well, I've challenged him in this offseason to see if we can't make the game slow down even more than what it did toward the end of last year. And, all the great quarterbacks that I've coached, that's one of the big characteristic traits that they had was the game slowed down. They anticipated the throws. They anticipated the windows coming open. And I think he's done a good job of that for the 12 practices. And again, goes back to the communication and the dialogue that we have back and forth. And I ask him every day after practice, I said, what did you see it today? And he's really beginning to see it well. It looks like the game is slowing down for him. Now what we've got to do is we've put so much install in over the 12, 13 practices that we've had, we'll eventually start narrowing things down. But I've been very pleased with him. Bo is he's like a coach on the field. We've got to when things break down, that's usually Bo's usually really good when those things happen, and he's able to make plays with his feet. And so I've been pleased with him. We got a long way to go. I asked him when I first got here, do you want to be good? Do you want to be great? And obviously he says he wants to be great. He wants to be one of the best that's ever played. And I said, well, okay, it's going to take a lot of work, and I want to remind you this many days that I'm chewing on you pretty good. So he's done a good job to this point, but we got a long way to go.
Thank you.
Our next question is from Mark Murphy.
Coach, can you talk about working with Kevin Steele again and how important it is for you guys to be on the same page as far as getting stuff accomplished in preseason, especially this preseason, which is really different?
Yeah, my time working with Kevin and be able to work with him again at the same capacity. I don't know how many coordinators have ever worked together two different places. That's probably pretty unique across the landscape of college football. But Kevin, a great friend, a guy that's extremely knowledgeable, has had great success. He and I have done a lot of talking, different things talking. He wants to hear about offense, and I want to hear about defense. And so we've really had a great time, a great opportunity during our downtime to talk some ball and be able to share ideas back and forth with each other. So that's been great. And then also just to be able to lean on Kevin a little bit at times and ask him, he's been here, he's been at Auburn, he understands the dynamic at Auburn, and I've asked him a lot of questions about Auburn and moving forward, and he's done a great job of helping me out with that. But we've definitely been on the same page, and through the installations, it's been really good.
Thanks.
Coach, our next question is from Bill Cameron.
Coach, you've got a pretty good sized running back room. Just wondered how many running backs can you really expect to be able to play? And then secondly, with 2 weeks to go for the opening game, just wondered how far along are you, or are you somewhere near where you'd like to be in this situation 2 weeks away from opening game?
Yeah, as far as installation of our offense, yeah, no, I think we're in a great position right now. We've done a lot. I think that our guys have done a tremendous job through all the Zoom meetings through spring. Even though we didn't go through spring football, we still went through installation, and we still went through just the meeting times. And these guys have retained a lot. And when we came back out of it, we were able to have some on the field walkthroughs, and that's really been beneficial. So you could tell once we got on the field, we were well ahead of where I thought we would be. So that was a big plus. And we still got a few things we'd like to install, but we'll get to that. The other question is with our running backs. I think you in this league, as physical as this league is, you better have 4 solid guys right now that you can count on. And as much as we ask our running backs to do, whether it's in the pass scheme, whether it's in pass protection, whether it's obviously running the football. These guys have got to be physical, and they got to be able to hold up, and we've been able to see a lot of that. We've been able to do a lot of coaching off of some film with through the first 2 scrimmages with our running backs to get better in some of those areas. But I've been pleased where we're at.
Thanks.
Coach, our next question is from Justin Ferguson.
Hey, Chad, you got quite a bit of young receivers, newcomers at the position. What have you seen out of those guys, and do you think they'll be able to help you out?
I do. I do think that they'll be able to help us out. Xavien Capers being one of them. He came in. He's got great speed. He's got the length that we're looking for. It's just understanding, coming in from being a senior in high school to to a freshman in the SEC, it's quite a bit of a difference. And so learning the speed of the game, how to run routes, you can't just rely on true athleticism. You have to learn the techniques of it. And so he's doing a good job with that. I think he's going to be able to help us this year. Colby Hudson's another one. Been extremely pleased with watching him and his progression. Again, a lot of this is just guys learning how to play at the speed of the game and what it runs at right now. But overall, I think that we've got a good group of young guys. I think we got a good mixture of our older guys that are help bringing these young ones along.
Our next question is from Josh Vitale.
Staying with the wide receivers, I wanted to know what you've seen out of Kailin Newton as he makes that transition from quarterback, and is he a guy who can help the offense this season?
Yeah, he is. Absolutely, he is extremely intelligent. Obviously had played quarterback in the past, so he has a great feel for it at the wide receiver position where everybody should be aligned. And, the thing that has impressed me the most about him is his ability to move and play different positions at that wide receiver spot because of his just how smart he is, how he's grasped the offense. And so I do feel like that he'll be able to help us out.
Coach, our next question is from Thomas Murphy.
Hey, Coach. One of the main things you're emphasizing this season is getting the ball to the running backs through the air, and we saw that put into play in this past scrimmage where Shivers got the 80-yard touchdown reception. But I was wondering, how has that been able to help free up the wide receivers like Seth Williams and Anthony Schwartz downfield?
Well, I think, I've firmly believed everywhere I've been that you've got to involve, the great teams that we've had and been a part of. You've had great success in the passing game with the tight ends and the running backs. And I think that's something that these guys have taken a lot of pride in. I've been extremely impressed with. We got a long way to go now. Don't get me wrong here. But these guys have done a great job of understanding what we're asking them to do, and now we've got to find detail over the next 2 weeks, some of the techniques and some of the technique issues that we got to get cleaned up. But these guys been able to come out of the backfield and catch a football, whether it's whatever it may be. But I've been pleased with them, and more so than anything, just the pride level of making sure that they're getting it right.
Our next question is from JG Tate.
Hey, Chad, thanks for taking the time to talk with us. You use tight ends quite a bit at Arkansas, and that's something that Gus was not doing much of at Auburn. Talk about how you're going to use tight ends this year and how important that is to what you want to accomplish.
Well, you could probably ask those guys, and they're usually the first ones that's all sweated out on the field because they're moving all over the field and getting involved. And been very, very pleased with these guys. Again, much like the running backs, they're taking great pride in understanding what I'm asking them to do. And so that's been really good as we move forward. They've had some big catches through practices. Through the 12 practices, had some big catches in some of our scrimmages. So I think that they know, they see how involved that they're going to be. And we've got some good young guys that I'm excited about with Brandon Frazier and J.J. Pegues. I mean, these guys have a chance to be really special. Obviously, we got a good older group with Shank and Luke, and so that are bringing them along as well. So we got some depth there at that tight end position, and we just got to keep bringing those guys along.
Why specifically that position? Why is it important to you as a coordinator, as a play caller? Why do you want to feature that a little bit?
Yeah, that position alone creates an opportunity to play at a faster pace, or it creates mismatches. How do people want to play you? Are they going to play him as a wide receiver? If they are, they're going to bring a nickel on the field. If they do that, then is this guy able to come back in the backfield and you're able to run the football? Well, okay, no, we're going to play him as a true tight end. Well, great. Then I have an opportunity to get him mismatched out in space, whether it's on option routes or rail routes or crossing routes. And so it's really a chess match when it comes to that. But, and just be able to disguise and move him around has been really big for us.
Coach, we got some follow-up questions. First one is from Tom Green.
Hey, Chad. How would you say your offense and really yourself as a play caller has evolved over the last decade at the college level?
Again, using the tight ends, getting those guys involved. I think that's probably the biggest thing. Involving them, and not just the run game, but also the passing game. And then the next is bringing those running backs along as well and getting them involved in the passing game.
A follow-up from Philip Marshall.
Chad, having been a head coach twice now in college, has that impacted you and helped you as far as going back to being a coordinator again? And a completely unrelated question to that, if you could kind of talk about where the offensive line stands.
Yeah, I think, having been a head coach and a head coach in this league and, and then going back and transition back into the coordinator role, as a head coach, you got so many things on your plate. Really the best part of your day is when you're able to step out there between those white lines and be a part of the football practice, coaching football. And you got a lot of things going on around you. So I think what it's allowed me to do, moving back into that coordinating room, is just to be able to kind of go back and put your priorities and compartmentalize the way you want to do things, and just focus strictly on football. And that's been probably the biggest adjustment. But yet understanding that, in that head coaching office, there's a lot of things going on, and to be able to keep as much stuff off of the head coach's plate as possible has probably been my main priority, in handling it in our own rooms. As far as the offensive line, I think these guys they're coming along. We're still, as the entire offense is, a work in progress. But we do got some guys that have come on. Obviously, Broderius Ham has had a good camp so far. Brandon Council has been another one that's been extremely physical, a really good football player, a great addition to our football team, as well as to our offensive line. And so, we just got to try to find over the next, this next scrimmage, try to find and solidify our five that we want to go in there with, and try to put those five together, and let's build some continuity.
Thanks.
Next question is from Mark Murphy.
Coach, how many quarterbacks do you want to have ready for the Kentucky game? Could you talk about the other guys in addition to Bo who might be able to play this year?
Yeah, I mean, I've always felt that you better have three ready to go. As far as, we've talked about Bo, Grant Loy is another one, much like Brandon Council. He's been a great addition to our football team, as well as to our offense and even the quarterback room. An extremely intelligent young man, an older guy, which that room needs, that's been through college football before, or at least been several years into it, to be able to bring a little bit of wisdom in that room. He's been and he's had a good camp. He's got an incredible arm, runs really well, and so been pleased with Grant. Cord Sandberg, obviously Cord had been here in the past last year, and watching his development, I think he's definitely has had a good spring or a good camp, and so I feel comfortable with Cord. Runs really well. So those guys. Chell is just a freshman that's picking it up, picking the offense up, and is going to be a tremendous football player. But I've been pleased with those guys, and just more importantly, just the type of people they are in that room, and that's what you want lead your football team.
Questions from Nathan Kane.
Hey, Chad. Hey, I wanted to circle back. You talking about Xavien Capers. Obviously, he was a guy that was committed to you when you were at Arkansas. What can you kind of say about your relationship with him dating back to Arkansas now that you guys are both here, and why is he kind of standing out to you in preseason camp?
Well, I obviously knowing Zay and his family, for as long as we have, and obviously, like you said, he was committed to us at Arkansas, and we knew he was going to be a tremendous player. We felt that way when we were recruiting him, and obviously he commits here. I come here, and just be able to watch his development, and it kind of makes you think, well, okay, what we really saw in recruiting is it now I'm able to get on the inside of it and have him here and watch him develop, and he's going to be everything that we thought he would be. So I'm excited about him. And the thing that really separates him, he's got really good acceleration, really good speed. And once he gets the technique and understanding what we're asking of him and how to run routes, he's got a chance. He'll have a chance to be a really, really talented player.
Thank you.
Next question is from Jake Weesey.
Hey, Coach, kind of on a similar note there, in regards to recruiting, how helpful has your past experiences as an offensive coordinator and head coach kind of helped you at Auburn kind of look into other regions of the country when it comes to recruiting?
Yeah, obviously been in the Southeast at my stop in Clemson and recruiting all this area and the Florida area and Georgia. I think that it's definitely great to get back into that. And then my connections back into Texas, Louisiana, and that has been it's been a big addition for us and big help for us. And so again, I'm excited about just being able to contribute, being able to add some value to a great staff, and just bring some additions that can help everybody.
Very good. We're going to take a few more. First one's from Justin Ferguson.
Hey, Chad, I wanted to ask you, have you ever been around a running back that's quite like Sean Shivers? And how has he done this camp of like doing everything you guys want him to do at the running back position?
Well, first of all, just, we see what kind of player he is on the field, but off the field, he's just been incredible to be around. When you walk in, he just lights a room up. So I've really enjoyed getting to know him. And then you get to watch his work ethic and watch him perform out on the field, and a guy that it means something to him. There's no doubt about it. He wants to be great, and I think he's got the chance to be really special. And so, as we watch his development, it's going to be fun to watch him play.
Thank you.
Next one's from Bill Cameron.
Coach, you talked about working a lot of players, building depth, and trying to get them involved in the game. But also when you're trying to go fast, just talk about how you deal with that, how important it is, or how much you'd like to try to go fast while trying to get as many players involved as possible.
Well, I think you said something at the first there that's probably more important this year than ever before, and that is to have depth. I think with where we're at with COVID and you better develop your young guys. They better be getting reps. They better have, the attention to details and meetings, because sometime in the past, a guy that may be down on scout team or whatever it may be, this guy may check out in meetings and not really be as focused in. Well, now more than ever, he's got an opportunity to play. And so we've really stressed that and stressed the fact of developing and building that depth. So that's been something that we've been focused on. And then your other part of that question was, what was it?
Going fast.
Oh yeah.
How often would you like to do that?
Well, I think, and I've felt this now for probably about the last 5 years. I think back early on, especially I think Coach Malzahn really started it all. It was all about the tempo was to go fast, push the accelerator down, and go. Well, now what you've seen defensive evolve to it. They've changed their calls. They've gone to their one-word calls, so they're able to play fast with you. And I think the thing, and talking to other guys and other coordinators in our league and across the country, one of the things that when you talk tempo now, it's the ability to change the tempo of a game. Go really fast, slow it down, and really change it up. That causes as much stress as anything. And so that's, yes, we want to play fast, but we also want to be smart about it. We also want to be able to change the tempo of a game up.
Thanks.
Next question is from Jonathan Talley.
Harold Pointer. What have you seen out of him through the first few practices, and is he a guy that could carve out a role as a rusher or a receiver?
You talked about Harold? Yeah. Harold is a young man that's got great hands coming out of the backfield. He's done some good things. You see flashes with him. You just want the consistency with him. That's what I've been asking of him. We need more being consistent in our approach every day. But there are flashes there, and he's extremely talented. An opportunity to get him out and get him in space. The guy's got tremendous hands.
Next question is from Mark Murphy.
Coach, I wanted to ask about, is this a really different year for you as an offensive coordinator? Because you don't really have to redshirt anybody. So, that leaves everybody available.
Yeah, I think it's a different year for everybody right now across the country. As you know, y'all are experiencing it as well. Otherwise, we'd all be in the same room right now doing this press conference. But so it is. It's. I think the biggest thing that I could say is change. Change is part of every day right now. And you better be willing to change, and you better be willing to adjust and adapt and do it on the run. And it may be, heading down to meetings and you got to adjust and adapt the way you're doing some things. And but yeah, more so now than ever. As we mentioned, it's about developing the depth. It's about making sure everybody's ready to play, and bringing them along. And some guys are progressing faster than others, and that's okay. You just got to keep bringing everybody along.
Got two more, Coach, to wrap us up. First one will be from Brian Matthews, followed by Phil Marshall.
Hi, Coach Morris. Thank you so much for doing this for us. Would like to ask you about the left tackle position. Who's still left in that competition there? And has anybody sort of stood out to you stepping up going into this next scrimmage?
Well, we've had Alec Jackson. Alec has played there. He's gotten a lot of reps. We've moved Brandon Council out there, Austin Troxel. And so we've got a lot of guys, again, having developed depth and being able to move some guys around in the event of something happening, whether it's injury or someone's out. So developing depth at that position has been, as all the positions have been critical, but those have been the guys that have been playing.
And as a quick follow-up, what have you seen specifically from Alec Jackson? What do you like or don't like about him so far?
Yeah, I think that he has had a good camp, and again, he's shown a lot of really good things and put it on video. I know Coach Bicknell has really strained him and really pushing him, and so we really want more consistency, but we've seen a lot of progress and really excited where he is right now.
Philip? You're on mute, Philip. Philip, you're on mute.
I'm sorry. I was on mute. When they passed, how much impact did it have on playing fast when they passed the rule that you had to let the defense substitute if you substituted on offense?
I think that was a little bit of it, but I just think just like the game of football just continues to evolve, and you got to evolve with it. And I think that's what you saw from the time Coach Malzahn came in and started the hurry up across the country, that people evolved. Defensive coordinators evolved to match that, and they recruited to that, and they called to that. And so now I think the challenge is what's next? How do you change that up? And so, but I think that there's been a lot of evolution in it.
Thank you. All right, Coach Morris, we appreciate your time today. Thank you very much.
You bet. Thank y'all. War Eagle.